Hello, and welcome to another Monday's live stream. And today I'm going to be teaching you how to improve your tweets, some top tips for getting the best out of just one tweet. And again, at the end of this video, I'm going to be sharing the biggest mistake people make with their tweets that can really limit the reach of their Twitter tweets. If you're watching this live, thanks for joining me. Please do introduce yourselves. And if you're watching this on catch up, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, please do give this video a like. And if you're watching on YouTube, please do subscribe to my channel where I share lots of tips and advice on social media every Monday at 12:30. Hello, hi Amanda, thanks for saying hello. If you are watching live, please do say hello. Tell me where you're from. Amanda's from Redwood Copy. And if you check out the video from last week, Amanda joined me live and was sharing loads of great tips on how to get the community, get your customers into your social media content. So that's definitely worth a watch. So hi Amanda, thanks for watching. So today we're talking about Twitter, okay? Oh, hi, Kerry. Nice to see you. Thanks for saying hello. Twitter is today's topic. We're talking Twitter tips for tweets. Lots of alliteration today. So why should we be on Twitter, first of all? A lot of people say to me, but why should we be on Twitter? Well, I love Twitter. It's absolutely fantastic for keeping up to date with news. Journalists massively use Twitter for keeping up with news. It's where news tends to break on Twitter. People are tweeting quick updates, anything on, whether it's to do with the news, any new innovations, new research, new products, anything. It's all there live on Twitter. Most brands and large influencers are on Twitter. And I know from experience, from using Twitter for my business, that I get business inquiries through Twitter, but they tend to be larger business inquiries of a much larger value. And that's one of the reasons why I love Twitter. But it's brilliant for keeping engaged with your potential customers, new customers, partners, and really building up that community around your brand. So again, at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you the main reason your Twitter tweets fail. But to begin with, I'm just going to give you some fantastic little stats about Twitter, because it's always good to get a feel for the platform you're on and what it's all about. Again, if you're watching live, please do say hello, introduce yourselves, share any of your experiences of Twitter, ask me any questions. That's what I'm here for. Even if you're watching on catch up, please do ask me any questions. I love questions. Or just introduce your business, do a bit of self-promotion. I'm happy with that. Do that in the chat. So basically on Twitter, there are over 335 million active users on Twitter every month. So it's massive. So if you can't find at least one customer on there, then you're doing something wrong. And again, if you don't know how to use Twitter, I have got a workshop coming up in September that you're very welcome to come along to. But there are so many active users on there. There's bound to be your potential customers on there. There is, in the UK alone, there's around about 13 million active users. So again, for the UK, it's a fantastic source and a fantastic source of information and a fantastic opportunity for getting new business. Okay. There are over 500,000 tweets sent every single day on Twitter, which is massive. Okay. So, there's a lot of tweets, there's loads of activities that are happening. But what this means is that because it's a very active platform, loads of tweets, because it's short and fast as Twitter, it means that your tweets, if you do a tweet, it only lasts about 15 minutes. It's going to hang around in the news feed for about 15 minutes because you're up against a lot of competition. And Twitter, the Twitter algorithms, the robots in the background like to give you loads of information on your Twitter feed. Okay. So if you tweet, it's going to last about 15 minutes. That's why we need to make sure that when we do tweet, we optimize it. We do all these little tips that I'm going to tell you about to make sure you get the best reach possible. Okay. Oh, Kerry says hi. Hi, Kerry from Cheshire Marketing. Thanks for saying hello. Kerry runs some fantastic networking and has a brilliant Cheshire Business Directory. So if you are based in Cheshire, then do get in contact with Kerry. So again, let's have a think about these tweets. And again, I'm going to leave the best one till last, the one that's going to make the biggest impact. So first of all, I've written down some notes just so that I don't forget them. So basically, Twitter is about tweeting. We used to have 120 characters on Twitter. It used to be really, really short. You could hardly write. Sorry, it was about 140. Sorry, not 120. 140 characters on Twitter. But in 2017, they increased it to 280 characters, and everyone was like, "Oh, thank goodness for that." Because for those of us that like to pour loads of words into our social media, 140 characters is quite a challenge. Okay, so you've not got much room to talk. Okay. Oh, hi, Siobhan. Hello, Siobhan. Siobhan was saying you made it. Brilliant. I know you're busy, Siobhan. So Siobhan's at the outset in Warrington. So thanks for joining us, Siobhan. So yes. So we've got to make sure that in those small characters, we structure our tweets so that we reach as many people as we possibly can. So one thing that you can do, one good tip that Twitter loves, is if you reference current affairs. Yeah, because Twitter is a fantastic source of news. So if you can talk about current affairs, there's algorithms in the background, there's little robots that are looking at the language you're using. And if it relates to current affairs, you will generally get a large reach on your tweet, believe it or not. So if you relate it to things that are happening in the news or things that are groundbreaking from your sector, then do talk about them, do tweet about them, share your opinion, ask people's questions, ask their opinions. Yeah. That's what Twitter's about. It's about building this community and sharing knowledge, asking questions, and really getting people to think. Okay, think of Twitter as a bit of a think tank. Yeah, think tank for ideas and inspiration and breaking news. Okay, the other thing that you can do as well is tag people into your tweets. One of the best ways to increase your reach of your tweets is to tag people in. Because your tweets are only really going to hang around for 15 minutes in the newsfeed, to make sure that they last a little bit longer, if you tag people in, they will get a notification so that when they come on Twitter, they'll see that you've tagged them in. So they will then revisit your tweet and potentially retweet it, comment on it, like it, which again will give that tweet a little bit of a boost and reach more people. Okay. So really think, if you can, tag people in to bring them into the conversation. Okay. So use it as a bit of a research tool. Ask questions. If you've got a product or a service and you're not sure about which way or how to specifically develop some of the elements of that product or service, then ask people's opinions on Twitter. Just say, oh, what do you think about this? Would you prefer this or this? You know, you can do polls on Twitter. So, you know, use those functions, use those tools that are available to you to really engage with your audience. Now, again, I'm going to leave it to the end to tell you the one thing you really shouldn't do on your tweets. Okay. The other thing that's a really good idea to do with your tweets is promote other people, applaud other people, celebrate other people's achievements. One, if you're doing that, you're going to be tagging them in. But two, it shows that you're there to contribute to Twitter. You're not just going on there and trying to sell. Okay, you are interested, and you do, you know, you're interested in other things, other accounts on Twitter. It's not just about, you know, writing your tweets and leaving. It's about using your tweets to build people and bring them into the conversation, but also using your tweets to acknowledge other people and other accounts and to celebrate what other people are doing as well. Again, people respond so much more to tweets that are not purely self-promotion. And again, if you look at the live stream from last week, where I was with Amanda from Redwood Copy, watch that, because that was talking about getting into the heads of your customers and thinking about what should be in your tweets, what type of content should be in your tweets. Okay. One of the things that people do, which does work on Twitter, is asking for a retweet. Would you mind retweeting this? We're just trying to reach more people. We're maybe raising money for charity, or things like that. I mean, if you're doing anything charitable or anything that's helping out in your local business community, put it on Twitter and ask people to retweet it. Encourage people to do the same. If you've got some really delivering some really great practice in your business or organization, tweet about it, tell people about it. People love to learn off each other. Yeah. So think about your content. How is it adding value to people's lives? Okay. So the main thing is really trying to capture people's attention. Okay. So really getting into the heads and the mindset of the people that you want to reach, the people you do want to talk to. Tweeting is about developing a conversation. If you can get likes and comments on your tweets, that is how you increase the reach of your tweet. That's how you get a viral tweet. Okay. The little robots are assessing it. These pesky algorithms are assessing every single one of your tweets. And go back and have a look at the tweets you've done, because the more likes and comments you get on those tweets, you'll see that those tweets have reached more people, because Twitter wants to put interesting tweets in front of people. It wants to create a really interesting news feed for you on Twitter to keep you on Twitter. If it was all a bit dull, then you wouldn't go onto Twitter, would you? So it's trying to create the best user experience. And the way it assesses that is by looking at the number of likes and the number of comments on tweets. It uses you guys to tell them what you like. So if you can create tweets that get more likes and more comments, then those tweets are going to reach a lot higher number of people. Okay. Twitter will only send it to a small fraction of people to begin with when you write your tweet. But if those people then like and interact, retweet, then it'll share it. That tweet will go into more people's news feeds. And that's how you create a high reach with your tweets. So that's what you're aiming for. Think of these tweets. How are you going to get those likes? How are you going to get that engagement? Why would people like and engage with that tweet? Okay. Is it entertaining? People love to be entertained. I see some really funny stuff on Twitter. So be entertaining. Tell a few jokes. My jokes are appalling. But I've seen some really funny ones. Share thoughts, insights. This is the platform to do it. Okay. If you can resonate with people and get them to go, yes, I like that, then that is like gold dust. Okay. Images and videos as well. If you can create images and videos on Twitter, obviously your videos can only be 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And I always say less than 2 minutes really on Twitter, 30 seconds if you can, if you want to do a video tweet. But again, really think about how you're going to attract people's attention. Why should they watch this video? Okay, why should they look at this image? And the thing is a lot of people use fantastic stock images on Twitter. But what you've got to remember is that a lot of the time people have seen those before. The stock images, they've probably popped up. People are using stock images all the time. Images that have used before, so images that you can buy. It's much better to use your own content, even if it's just a snapshot, an informal image, people in the office, something at your desk, something you've seen when you've been out and about on your business travels. If you capture it, just a small capture, use it as a bit of a diary for what you've been up to, but use your own photos work much better than downloading these sorts of stock images. Okay. Kerry's just said Handforth Parish Council using the hashtag Jackie Weaver went viral all over Twitter, which apparently went worldwide. So there you go. It's about having a think about what your community is interested in and getting them to sort of retweet. That's really interesting. Thanks, Kerry. Yeah, if you've got any more examples, that'd be great. Just share them. Share them below. Share any tips you've got for Twitter. Put them in the comments. Any experiences, any questions, do put them in the comments. Okay. So the other thing that, when you're constructing your tweet to think about is the way you're writing it, the way you're composing it as well. So some people use quite capital letters, sale now on, and it feels a bit like they're shouting at you. Okay. And if you look to the live stream that we did last week with Amanda, you know, it's all about, capital letters. It's putting that fear, the fear. And we talked about it last week, the flight, fear and flight, primal response that us humans have. And if you put sail that one, it's like you're shouting at us and we're like, whoa, go away, scroll past that one quickly. Okay. Whereas if you reword it in more of a gentle, you know, jovial, informal way, you're much more likely to get a better response. So avoid those capital letters. You can use emojis as well. You know, use emojis within your tweets as well to lighten the tone and things like that. And also, you don't have to use all these 280 characters. And it has been shown that the shorter the tweet, the better it is. And actually, you know, really think about how you can keep them short, sharp, and snappy. Twitter is fast and furious. You know, sometimes people don't want to read 280 characters. So really think about how you can get that message across very shortly. Okay, using images that are going to make people stop and scroll. Intrigue, create that interest, create people stopping. Okay. So the other thing then is hashtags as well. I see so many people using Twitter and they don't put hashtags on their tweets. Oh my goodness. Twitter is the king of hashtags. Journalists, people looking for it, are constantly using hashtags. Events, people create specific hashtags for events. So you can look up a hashtag on Twitter and see what everybody else is talking about in that topical area. So really think about those hashtags that you're using. You want to be using between 1 and 3, no more than 3, otherwise it dilutes your messaging. So really think about those hashtags, but don't use common hashtags. See this time and time again. Businesses using hashtags like hashtag Friday feeling. Your customers are not going to use hashtag Friday feeling to try and come across your products. It's too broad, it's too wide. Yeah. You want to really be thinking about hashtags that are specific to your product. So like when I'm doing it, I would, for this video, if I was talking about this video, I would do hashtag Twitter tips, because I know so many people look for social media tips. Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't put hashtag Mondays live. You know, I wouldn't use that. I wouldn't do hashtag Monday live because it tells people nothing. But if I use hashtag Twitter tips, anyone who's looking for hashtag Twitter tips are likely to come across my tweet. So this then lengthens the tweet, the length of the lifespan of this tweet, because if I'm using a hashtag and people type that hashtag in, my tweet might appear. So again, we're expanding the lifespan of that tweet, but also increasing the search opportunity as well for that tweet. So hashtags are phenomenal. Please do not forget hashtags on your tweets, okay? And then the final one, the final big massive tip, and again, if you've got any questions, do put them in the chat. But the final tip is basically don't put a link in. Yeah. If you put a link into your tweet, so maybe you're trying to promote an event you've got. So for example, I've got my Twitter workshop coming up on the 28th of September. Yeah, it's an online workshop, so we do an hour a day over 4 days, and I'm going to show you how to use Twitter, how to optimize your profile, how to use lists, how to engage on Twitter to get new business. Okay, I wouldn't do loads of tweets going, come to my workshop, come to my Twitter workshop, because if I put a link in every single tweet that I do, it's encouraging people to come off Twitter, and Twitter don't like it. The little algorithms, the robots in the background go, ooh, you got a link on that tweet. Ooh. No, we're not going to share that with many people. You're trying to, take people off Twitter. We want people to stay on Twitter. Yeah, unless you advertise, unless you pay to promote that tweet, that's different. But if you're looking at, I've got organic or free, just a normal tweet in under your newsfeed, then don't put a link in. Not all of them anyway. Okay, so I always think about 80-20 rule. 80% content, interesting facts, advice, breaking news, whatever, questions. Then 20% sales, more salesy posts with a link in. Now, the other massive mistake that people make is when they do put a link in, is they then add hashtags in. So if you're putting a link in, don't add hashtags, okay? And the reason for doing that is that you don't add hashtags because you then end up with, if you put 3 hashtags and a link, you then end up with 4 clickable links. Then if you tag someone in, you end up with 5 clickable links because people can click on who you've tagged in, click on each of the hashtags you've used, and then there's finally your link at the bottom. So if you're going to put a link in your tweet, just put a link. Don't tag anyone in. Don't use any hashtags, okay? Just put that link because that's where you want your Twitter followers to go. So those are my main top Twitter tweet tips. So do have a look at that. But there's a whole load more to Twitter. There's loads more that you should be looking at on Twitter. You need to really look at your profile, making sure it's ranking high on Twitter, making sure people want to follow your profile in the first place, engaging on Twitter, creating lists to really boost your profile and your strategy, because you can lose a lot of time on Twitter. And I'm going to be teaching you all about this. If you really want to get serious about Twitter, and what I mean about serious about Twitter is seriously getting business contacts on Twitter, then you need to come along to my workshop. I'm going to share the link now. I'll put it in the chat. I'll just copy the link. But do come along to this. We do an hour each day over 4 days, and it's only £160 for all 4 sessions, but it is just limited to 10 people. But I can basically, by the end of the week, you're going to be so confident on Twitter, and it is going to drive you business inquiries, okay? You are going to get business inquiries if you use the techniques and strategies that I'm going to be using. So again, please do consider coming along to my Twitter workshop at the end of September. I've shared loads of great tips today, which will definitely help you with your tweets, but your tweets are just one element of your Twitter strategy if you want to drive business inquiries. And we have a fantastic week. And as Kerry said, she actually came along to my Twitter workshop, and she used Twitter. She's been using Twitter for years. And and she got an inquiry from £1 million company. There you go. Thank you. Thanks, Kerry. Well, there you go. That speaks for itself, doesn't it? Thanks, Kerry. Thanks so much for putting that on there. So do have a look and do consider coming along to my workshop in September. And if you've got any questions about Twitter, I'm happy to answer them. Just pop them in the comments. And again, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you've seen it on Facebook, please do follow me on Facebook. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I am live every Monday at 12:30. Although saying that, I am not live now for the next 2 weeks. It's bank holiday next week, and then I'm away the Monday after. So my next live stream, I will see you in 3 weeks. So again, check out my social media, and any questions, pop them in the chat. And thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks, guys. Bye.